Challenges from everybody. Oh, okay. Okay, I see that it's the rating thing. I think it was the rating difference. Let's try again. Alright, so, okay. Nope. It didn't work for me. Oh, outgoing as well. Alright, hang on. Let me try that again. There was an incoming and outgoing. Okay, let's see. Play. I've exceeded the maximum number of challenges. Okay, chess.com. The wonders. I'm probably going to edit all this out. That's what I'm going to do. Yeah, I did that. Okay, that's what I did. I like the red boards. Challenges, all challenges, friends. Yeah. That's all good. That's all good, yeah. Except friend requests. Did I not do that? Okay, so now he's added. 5-5, okay, and play. Nope, it's still not working. It keeps going, it keeps doing that. It keeps going back to... Alright, so... There it is. Okay. Finally. There we go. We're golden. You as well. Although, I probably shouldn't wish you luck because that makes my chances even worse. Alright, so let's see here. Oh, my clock was running. That's great. And I played d4. I didn't want to do that. The game will auto-abort in 50 seconds, but I played d4. Alright, so let's see what we get here. I played d4. Aha, okay. And we're gonna get a Slav if I don't particularly want a Slav. Because I didn't prepare for the Slav. And I always get train wreck positions against the Slav. So I'm going to go knight f3, yeah. Okay, so c4, c6 I'm expecting. And I'm probably just going to play e3. Okay. Alright, so we're getting a normal queen's QGD. We'll see if he plays Shigorin or Rogozin or c6 a Semi Slav. I'm pretty familiar with these QGD positions. It's been a while though. Okay. So he goes c6. If I go bishop g5, will he take on c4? Likely. And I don't quite remember what I'm supposed to do there. It's been a while. If I go bishop g5 takes e4, b5, e5, h6, the line's a super mess. The line is a super mess, and I think it is slightly better for black, if not equal. So I'm going to stay. I don't want to commit to e3 either. But that's the thing about this position, is that you have time to do one or the other. You either lock in your dark square bishop or you let black take, and I know he's going to take. I just don't remember the line at all. So bishop g5, d takes c, e4, b5. If I go a4, he has b4, and the knight is inconvenienced. I don't really have a good place to put it. I don't think. It's just me remembering the Slav. So I'm going to stay solid. I got to commit to this. I don't really want to complicate the position too much. I'm taking after John today. I'm rocking a Starbucks. We'll see what he does. Okay, knight b to d7. Okay, so if I go bishop d3, he'll take c4, then knight b6 or b5. And the problem is this bishop is so bad now. Okay, well I'm going to do this and I'll pre-move. Can I pre-move? I cannot pre-move. Ah, crap. I'm expecting b5, yes, okay. Yeah, I've seen this before. He might play b4. Or bishop b7. Expecting bishop b7. Or a6. And there's several candidate moves. They're all fine. So black's plan in this structure is actually to push c5. Get rid of this backwards c-pawn. But there's a way you can play knight e4. In some positions, I don't know if I can play it right this minute. But knight e4 prevents c5. And if there's ever a knight trade, bishop e4 pins the c-pawn, to which you can probably just respond knight f6. But, okay, I'm going to castle. I don't see any reason not to do that. I also could have considered e4. But on e4, maybe b4. It is 2:30 on Friday. I've been preparing for this match for the last couple months. Yeah, a6 was the move I expected. So a6 prevents knight takes b5 in the event of c5. So that's his plan. If I go e4 right now, I'm wondering if there's a drawback to this. He might play c5 and line up b4. I think I have to play e4 anyway, though, just to get my bishop outside the pawn chain. I just wonder if there's anything concerning. For example, the d pawn becomes weak in that instance. I don't know if that matters so much. So if I go e4, he might play c5 probably. Yeah, he's lining that up, so I think I have to go in for this, although it does lose time. I might play queen c2. I think queen c2 comes a move too late. So if I go e4, can I play d5 at all? I don't see a real way to prevent c5. I didn't make this too difficult for John. It's a little disappointing. But it was either this or the Slav. So I think the position's roughly equal. I'm just trying to find the right plan going forward here. I go e4, I'm definitely expecting c5, and I probably have to take, allow knight takes. But his position is too active there. Anyhow, I think I have to do it. He's going to play c5. And there it is. I'm not so much concerned about c4, though. I think he's threatening right now b4, and then when I move the knight, he can win the e4 pawn. So I can go bishop g5. And this capture. I can also play e5. e5 might be the move to consider here. See e5, if he takes d4, I'll take f6, knight, pawn takes c3. He wins a pawn in that line, I think. So I can just count the material e5, he'll take one a pawn, I win the knight, he wins my knight, I win the pawn back, and then he wins f6, so that line drops a pawn. And if I go bishop g5, takes c4, that's actually not so bad. I am down on the clock 3 minutes. c4, I just drop back to c2. The knight is pinned, so it's not really threatening anything. Although there is a concerning line, if I play h6, I may have to take the knight. Because if I go bishop h4, he may be ambitious enough to play g5, and then go after the e-pawn. With the line b4, knight e2, say, however, or knight a4. And then he can snatch this because he's removing the defender of e4. I still think the position is roughly equal. I have a lead in development. He wasted some time with c6. That's the only real thing I get out of this. c6 was not a developing move. Okay, so he is going to take. Okay. And if I go e5, he will play h6. e5 doesn't win the knight because of h6, and on bishop h4 he has g5. It's a very committal line. He's also attacking my knight, so I may just have to recapture this. I'm just wondering what's the follow-up after that. I'm going to take... I'm not liking my position so much. This is what happens generally when you have to waste time playing e3 and then e4. But again, the alternative, I'm really not looking forward to. I wasn't looking into John's preparation too much, because he plays the Slav very well, and I know that, and I made the mistake of not studying it. But even with the amount of times I played against it and studied it, I cannot find a line that is advantageous for white. It's just such a solid opening for black. It's really difficult to make headway against that structure. So some themes of the position. My light square bishop is definitely a little awkward. This e-pawn is definitely making that difficult. I'm catching up on the clock a little bit. That's one good sign. I don't think that matters too much. If he plays e5, he's giving up the f5 square. I can probably just take immediate advantage of that, so he's probably not going to do that. He might play bishop c5 here. Bishop c5, maybe knight b3. And that's actually looking at the a5 square, so bishop b6. And then maybe I can get an e5 at some point, maybe queen e2 or rook e1. If he plays h6, I will go bishop h4. Because taking just helps him. I give up the bishop pair and I activate that knight on d7. So I have to go bishop h4, and I maybe have to gambit the e4 pawn. But my compensation for that is that I have a lead in development, of course, and the position is opening up, and he has not castled yet. Just things to think about, some food for thought. He's taking his time here. I wonder what the plan is. I don't think I've ever been in this exact position before. I'm just trying to think of some ideas that maybe black or white has, rather. I'm trying to look at b4 right now and trying to see if there's any, like what particular square my knight was to choose from would be e2 or a4. Okay, he goes knight e5. Okay. So that is a discovered attack on my d4 knight and my bishop, and if I move the knight, he's going to win the bishop. Okay. Admittedly, I did not see that. So I can move my bishop. I can play bishop e2. But before I start to think passively, I'd rather think actively, and I mean, his king is still uncastled, so I don't know if I can take advantage of that, really. He has a lot of control over the light squares on the queen side. Both knights and the light square bishop are controlling the light squares on the queen side, so it's not like some sacrifice is going to net me anything. So I have a choice between bishop e2 and bishop c2. Bishop c2 watches over the e4 pawn. I can't play f4 because queen takes d4 is check. Definitely have to keep that in mind. I can also play bishop e3, but that's still not a move I really want to consider. I'm just wondering, like, okay, I'm more so leaning towards bishop c2, and he has a lot of moves there to consider. So bishop c2, you can either play b4 or bishop c5. I think both of those moves are good. Bishop c5, maybe knight to b3 or knight f3. However, on knight f3, you can trade queens and then take f3, and then my structure is a little damaged. I don't know if that matters so much with the queens off the board, but it is something to consider. So if I go bishop c2, bishop c5, knight f3, knight takes is probably what he'll play. I have to go queen takes, and if he trades queens first, I play rook a takes d1, knight takes f3, g takes f3. I have a worse structure, but with the queens off the board, I don't know how much that really matters. Going into an endgame, that shouldn't be too bad. So bishop c5 would potentially lead to some trades. And b4 is unpleasant. I do have queen a4 check, however. I don't actually. No, sorry. I mean, I have bishop a4. I have bishop a4 check in that instance. If he goes b4. Okay, so if bishop c2, b4, bishop a4 check, he has to block with the knight. Probably the knight on e5. If he blocks with the bishop, I'm more than happy to trade that. I just need to make sure I'm not blundering anything else. Is there any other attacking moves? Will they go knight c4? Knight c4, and if I go b3, he has knight a3. Well, I think I have to do it, so I spent enough time here. One interesting tactic, potentially, not that it's exactly a good move, but knight e to g4, I can play queen takes. Okay, this was the move I was expecting. I saw this move. Okay, so if I go knight f3, he will probably trade queens or castle. If he, well, I'm attacking the knight, so he probably has to take my queen. I can recapture with the bishop now that I'm looking at it. Unfortunately, however, that would drop this pawn because this queen is this knight is no longer pinned. This knight would be no longer pinned after a queen trade. So if I take with the bishop, he can take e4, and that's not good. So I have to take with the rook. So knight f3 is what I wanted to do. I also have knight b3, but my knight is kind of off sides there. So knight f3 takes, check, queen takes. I think that's fine. And knight f3, queen trade, rook a takes, and then knight takes, pawn takes. My position is a little passive, but I think this is fine. So let's pre-move this. I can't pre-move. I keep forgetting I can't pre-move. Alright, how do I enable this? Oh, chess.com. Enable pre-moves, okay. Okay, got it. So way down on the clock now. But I can pre-move. I'm not sure exactly what to go for here. I spent 5 minutes on bishop c2. Okay. So he is not interested in doubling my pawns. Alright, well that definitely is a change of pace, for sure. So what I can do now, I think, I gotta move my knight. Like, I'm not exactly a big fan of ruining my structure here. Problem is, though, that my f-pawn is pinned. And I would really love to play f3, but that's impossible. So what I can do, maybe, is somehow try to negate this bishop. Bishop e3 also ruins my structure. can play bishop f4, and he will probably trade. I kind of want to. I want to force him to take this, and the reason why is because I just want to. I'm okay with the doubled f pawns as long as e4 is supported, because e4 is really my only trump in the position. I think it's what's giving me central space and central control, and he has a hard time to negate that central control. So if I go bishop f4, he will likely play he'll either take or play knight g6. If he plays knight g6, I have bishop d6. So I'm not going to waste too much time with that. I'm content with the worst structure. Because I will be able to negate this bishop after a trade. F takes, he can get the move back, and then I'll play bishop e3, and I think my position is still fine. Still roughly equal. I mean, black is clearly more active, so maybe black has a slight advantage in that regard. His pieces are a bit better placed in mine. The knight on c3, a little awkward. The bishop on c2, definitely a little awkward, but I have the only open file, or one of the only open files. I just noticed the C file is open. And I don't know, I think all is okay. Definitely an interesting game so far. I'm not too happy with how the opening result went out. Oh, f6, okay. So are you content, John, with me doubling the e-pawns? And then having a weakness to bite at on e6? f6 was not a move I expected. But that comes at the cost of the bishop pair. I don't know how much that really matters. Excuse me. I don't believe in that move. f6 was not a move I didn't consider this, and I didn't consider it for reasons that are unknown to me. But I think he's okay with having his king in the center, and maybe that's what he's going for, but I can... So bishop b3 is a move that's crying out to be played. I think he will respond with king e7 or king f7. So bishop b3. He may play b4 as well. On b4 I have to play knight to a4. Have to play that, because otherwise I'm just dropping this for nothing. So bishop b3, b4, knight a4, bishop a7, and then I can take e6. With decent play. So I don't think he can justify playing this move. Bishop b3, king f7 pins the e6 pawn, so we may play king e7, and then I can go forward with this venture of maybe doubling his pawns. So let's go for this. He can still take here, and I'm okay if he does that. Okay, king e7 was a move I was expecting. So what I can do now is I can take... If I take, I'm basically saying... I can actually just play king h1 here. Okay, I'm willing to do this. I'm running out of time. On f takes, I have a check. Important detail. And after e takes, I'm going to play king h1. And this permits me to play f3. I know I'm battling against the bishop pair here, but these pawns are so weak. And I'm going to negate the light square bishop. This light square bishop has very little future. On b4, I do have the resource knight a4, still, which is a tempo. The bishop is unprotected in that case. If I didn't have knight a4, if this bishop was not unprotected on c5, this whole line would be bad for white. Because he could just play b4 and then win the e pawn. Okay. So decent chances now. My only issue that I really need to focus on is the clock. Let's see what he does. I'm not really sure what to commentate on. I'm not really focused on the game, trying to figure out what his idea moving forward will be. I don't know if he's going to have a plan of attack. I have the better structure in exchange for the bishop pair, and that's something. Definitely interesting. Okay. It's 3 o'clock now. Need to send a message to a client of mine while we wait here. I know I should be focusing on the game, but I need to calm my nerves, for one. I might need to step away, but I only have 10 minutes to do that. I'm catching up on the clock. I think John is taking his time composing a plan on how to move forward with this endgame. And truth be told, I don't see a clear-cut plan for either side. I mean, because my plan, I mean, for now, in order to consolidate the position, I'm going to play f3 and then go from there. Like, I don't see a way he can stop f3. He can play b4, but of course I have the resource knight a4, which is a tempo. And quite frankly, if you don't hang on to that bishop, white is just better with the structure. So I think that f6 move was a bit of a, I'm not going to call it a mistake or a blunder, I just think it was an inaccurate way to go forward. I mean, my opinion may not, I mean, just in my mind, I think that's the way this position is going now, is that he wasn't expecting me to take on e5. And his structure now is really bad. And I'm okay with giving up the bishop pair, because the center is still slightly closed. Fixed pawns on e6, e5, and e4. I'm going to support it with f3. And I don't know, I still like my chances, and I'm very close to catching up on the clock, so... Definitely in the post-mortem, I'm going to have to see if there was maybe a way I could improve on the opening. Okay, so he's doing this straight away. And I have to do this. Okay, so I found a decent way to move forward. My pieces are a little clogged. I can play f4. That hangs the e-pawn, however. And his bishop is doing a great job with keeping me on the edge. So I can prepare f4 with maybe rook e1. I can also just contest the open file with rook c1, because the d file is kind of useless at this point. And then I can follow up with maybe rook c4. So if I go rook c3, if I go rook c1, bishop e3, rook c4 is my idea. That way there, if he takes, I give my bishop free and I permit myself to play b3. Yeah. So my plan now is to play bishop c4, which permits b3. Because I cannot allow my... Aha. He's preventing that plan. Okay. Interesting move. Okay, he has a pretty simple plan of just winning the b2 pawn. That actually could be unpleasant. The good news, however, is that it's an opposite colored bishop position. And that'll have to be my compensation. I honestly, I didn't quite make all this out moving when I went into this line. But opposite colored bishop position, and he has no way to advance the king side, and if I have a bishop on b3, I secure the queen side. So I'm thinking just rook c2. However, on rook c2, he might play bishop b5, and then I can double rooks. Okay. Pre-move this capture. If he wants to go in for this endgame, that's fine. Opposite colored bishop ending. And, you know, I'm down a pawn, but opposite colored bishop, so it's going to be my... That will be my argument, to say the least. I don't know, I've kind of been teetering on the edge of equality. And he definitely found a good way forward. I might have to adjourn. I'm feeling a restroom break coming on. The Starbucks is kind of getting to me. It was delicious, though. So I think that's definitely something I need to be working on, is my my openings. I'm a not very formidable player in the opening. But that is okay, because I just know. Like, most of my decisions have been, well, I caught up on the clock. Wow. My decisions have been decent this game. It's just my opening. I definitely felt worse out of the opening, and that's a problem I have oftentimes. Like, if I can get a good opening position, I think I'm good. I'm good for the rest of the game. But if I have a worse opening position, I know it, like, right away. Like, I think in this game, as soon as he played knight e5, I definitely felt worse, because that forces me to play bishop c2. I'm retreating, he's moving forward and centralizing, and it all stemmed from that e3 move as well. E3 is not a top candidate move. It's definitely considered best to move the bishop first, outside the pawn chain, but John knows the Slavs so well that I think I would be in a worse position if I had went into that line. I'm not too sure. Anyway, I'll have to ask when I talk to John again. I'll have to ask him and see if he wants to, like, if I played bishop g5, he would have taken on c4. Oh man, this chair is starting to get a little uncomfortable because I think my position is uncomfortable. Yeah, I don't think the time pressure is going to set in for him. I mean, he's talked about this quite a bit, the time pressure. He spends a lot of time with the clock. And I think he's trying to figure out whether he wants to win a pawn or just have the bishop pair and let me establish some, like, let me double rooks on the c file. Okay, are you going to give me the c file, or are you going to... Okay, he's deciding to win a pawn. Okay, so on bishop takes, just thinking, okay, so he's going forward with this. Alright, so I have the... what do I have? What exactly do I have here? I mean, okay, what am I trying to say? It's opposite colored bishops, and my job now is to draw. White cannot win this, and with best play, I don't think black can win this. But it's just the small matter of proving it. Like, okay, yes, you have to prove it. So what I can do moving forward is actually I can just play h3, get my rook to the d file, and consolidate that way. And if he trades rooks, if I can, okay, so maybe that's the idea. If I can trade rooks in this position. Okay, so I just need to think of in terms of a setup here. Okay, he can never support a4 without the help of the rook, but if he tries to get an a4, I can always play bishop a4. So he's going to have a difficult time to convert this into something. He'll have to play on the king side. But if he lets me get too active on the queen side, then there may be an issue. Okay, so if I go bishop a4, one of a couple things will have to happen here, and I'm just trying to figure out where I want my rook. Where do I want my rook is a question I have, and where do I want my bishop? Do I want my bishop on a4 right away or b3 right away? No. I'm just going to secure the queen side. I'm expecting rook c8, and then if I play rook d1, he goes bishop d4, and then I have f4 again. And I don't have a back rank issue because my bishop and rook are converging on d4. So at this point, unfortunately, I am playing for a draw. And I think I've been playing for a draw since the opening. I touched on that already, but white cannot win this position down a pawn like this. I mean, I have no pawn majority. My rook isn't very good. My king isn't very good. And I don't see a clear-cut way to activate my king. Okay, so he's playing a5, and that lets me... what? If I play rook f2, he will move the rook to the open file. I don't think he's going to sack the pawn, so I'm actually going to play either h3 or h4. I think both are fine. I'm going to go h3, keep all my pawns on light squares. That way there's no back rank issue anymore, and his bishop has a difficult time to get around to this square. I mean, if he goes bishop d4 right now, that allows me to play rook c1. And I think I'm definitely equal there. So he has to keep a close eye on c1 for now. If he plays rook d8, I can play rook d1. And if he trades rooks, I can pretty much guarantee a draw. Because there wouldn't be a way for him to break through. Okay, so this is a forced move. Cannot allow him to play a4. Okay. I'm not quite sure where his rook is planning on entering. Okay, actually, I do. But this is threatening rook d7, so he has to play... I see his plan now. It's actually to play rook c3. and then rook a3. And then that supports a4. So on rook c3, I have to play bishop back to b3. Okay. Alright, so let's go here. On rook c3, I have to play bishop b3. Or I can actually give a check. So he has to play bishop d4 first. Okay. He does that. And I can play f4 or rook d3. f4, I'm just trying to figure out if I play f4, I'm going to take it on e5. So f4, rook c3, I'll take, and if he plays rook a3, I'll take the bishop. Is that good for me? Well, we're starting to get into a blitz game here, so I just need to be careful. f4, rook c3, take here, I'm attacking the bishop. If he takes, I have a rook check. And then he goes king f6. And then I have rook a5. Or no, rook a7. Rook a7 just in the nick of time. But he's controlling the flight square. If I take, oh man, okay. Yeah, so he's trying to squeeze as much as he can out of this position. And I don't blame him. Okay, so my clock is it's going to kill me. Rook d3 prevents all of this. I just don't know if it's okay to allow the check. And I don't think it is, because no, he doesn't have that. Okay. I have to prevent rook c3. I still have ideas of maybe playing f4. This is quite nerve-wracking, but I'm trying to calm down. I mean, sometimes the suspense of a position can kill you. It's just the way it is. Oh, he goes for it. Okay. Are you going to win this, John? Oh, man, is he... Okay. Definitely interesting. I guess he wants to march his king all the way down. Can I get my king over in time? Huh. a tempo behind. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was mistaken, I guess. I suppose I was mistaken about this. That's a shame. I really enjoyed this game. Just try to blockade everything. I don't know. Well, I'm still happy with how this game turned out. I mean, even though I'm gonna lose, King B4 is an easy enough way. Yeah. I'll try to put up as much resistance as possible, but I think this game is just over, and he can be proud of this victory. And I'm still proud of the way I played it. I think I lasted much longer than I thought I was going to. But I was just worse out of the opening, and there's not a whole lot I can do about that. Well, it's still not over. He still has the time factor. And he still has the factor of trying to push through. Ah, shit. I did it. Yeah. Yeah, I got carried away there. Oh, man. I shouldn't have done that. I should have actually just played. No, I can't draw it no matter what. He found a way forward. King to A3. Maybe I should play something else here. No, I can't. Well, actually, if I keep my king on D3, I'm fine. I don't know. If I keep my king on D3 and just maybe lock these pawns, or... Yeah, I think I had a fortress if I keep my king on D3. I don't know. That's a shame. Oh well. We're gonna play one more. And maybe I can stir up trouble as black. Yeah, it was definitely worse out of the opening. I'm going to... Let's see. What can I take away from this? So, the decision of whether or not to play Bishop G5 or Bishop or E3 is... To me, you have to go in for this. I moved that too quickly. I think I had a fortress if I just leave the king on d3, because he can't move either pawn. John says he thinks it's possible. But these lines are so difficult. Like, it's just not easy to come up with a plan, because if you play e4, e3, always responds with b5, and the knight cannot take because of the pin. And the bishop can't really develop anywhere if it can't take on c4. So this is why I just avoid these positions. Because I've seen e4, b5. I don't know if it's better to take. I just need to look. I just need to spend more time studying this. But this is really the reason why I didn't go in for this. And did I lose the game? I lost the game. What? How do I... Oh, here it is. Okay. Yeah, so... Yeah, see, it says minus 1.32, and it's not going to deviate much from that, because it's not going to find a way forward. Black is up a ton of pawns. But if I just keep the king right where it is, and the bishop right where it is, it's likely a draw. But okay, let's see what the computer has to say. Okay, so d4, where did I start to slip? d4, I don't think it's going to like e3 very much. Position's still fine, position's still fine, e3. No, it's okay with e3. I mean, the computer is going to be okay with e3. But as a human, it just makes it really difficult to develop this dark square bishop. But that's just me trying not to... I'm trying to avoid opening preparation. Knight d7, and it says I have a slight edge. No, it's changing its mind. Bishop d3, computer best. Yep, this is all fine. Ooh, what did I miss? Oh, nothing. Okay. I didn't miss anything. So bishop d3, bishop b7. Okay. Nope. See, that computer eval is going to throw me off, because it's like, oh, white's winning, and then, oh, it's equal. And then pretty much the entire time it was like, yeah, it's equal. Okay, castles, a6, all no. Oh, nope. Yep, see, it's going to keep doing that. Just forget it. Okay, e4. e4 is the best move. Okay, I'm quite happy with that. c5, the move I expected, is also best. And as I think in this position, I need to find a different way to continue. Maybe not bishop g5. Maybe if I take, I'm worse. If I play e5, I wasn't so sure about knight d5. I considered this briefly. I don't know if I mentioned it while I was playing, but e5 was kind of the move I was considering in this position. And on knight d5, the move he will absolutely play. The decision of whether or not to take, because he's actually threatening the e5 pawn right now as it sits. If I allow him to take, knight takes, he takes e5, and I'm down a pawn, and I'm worse the whole game. Probably just losing. So the decision of whether or not to take is difficult. I can go in for maybe an isolated pawn position if he allows it. He can take with the bishop. And this position just seems worse for white. You know, even though he's down, I actually don't even have a lead in development in this position, because where does my bishop play? It doesn't have a whole lot of good options. I don't know, this just seems like a far better position for black, more space on the queen side. I have more central space, but I can't put it to use. Yeah. So, that's why I didn't exactly like the move e5. I played bishop g5. I think this move is still okay, but as you can see in the computer eval, it's starting to slip a bit. So maybe I should play e5. No, it doesn't like e5. I actually don't know what the move is, to be honest. I don't know what to consider. I don't want to take c5. I can't push d5 favorably. And I don't know. It just seems like black's position is easier to play here. Knight e5, bishop c2, I'm just worse, and it's climbing. But I held on for a little while. Yeah, it doesn't like bishop c5 too much. Knight of 3 was best. I think knight of 3 is better than knight to b3. Okay. I don't have much more to touch on. So, I mean, I think I played fine. I think I can hold the draw in this final position. If I don't play king c4, which I think was a little bit ambitious, and I think it was just a result of time pressure, I think I'm fine. But okay, I'm on to the second game, so thanks guys.